Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse, and today I'm going to give you a 2-month complete review of my experience taking NMN. I've been taking NMN via NMN Bio, and I'm going to tell you everything that has happened and basically give you a full report. Let's talk about this today. Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse. I'm out here in nature, loving this day. It's a little windy, but what I love about that is that it keeps everybody else out of the forest, so it's just kind of my forest right now. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you about NMN. I've been taking NMN Bio. I learned about NMN, as most people, through David Sinclair, his book, and his interviews. For instance, one of them was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's been on multiple other interviews. I also have heard about it through Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and then most recently, I have been able to make a very great acquaintance with Dr. Elena Serenova, and I've been learning a lot. Now, you have to understand, I've been taking anti-aging, or I guess you might say longevity things, for a long time. I've been taking supplements for a long time. I'm 40. That's right, 40. You can sort of see some lines. You can see a little bit of wear and tear. I don't know. I feel like I look pretty good for 40. I'm certainly not very mature, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. But ultimately, I've been taking things for health and longevity for years. And NMN was something that really caught my interest, but I wanted to do some research about it first. There's a lot of these things, a lot of these molecules that come out, and you get really excited about them, and then they come out and it's like, okay, I'm sorry, this is toxic now, or it leads to cancer, or a lot of the other things. So I didn't really take NMN until I took a little sample. I took 1 month about a year ago, and then I just didn't take it anymore. I took NR, which is another derivative of NAD, or not derivative, but it's a precursor to NAD. And so I sampled them. I kind of played with them a little bit, but I was still not 100% sure, first of all, of the quality of the products I was taking, and I was a little hesitant. Now, I've been taking resveratrol since, let's see, 2002 or 2003, somewhere around there, I think. And so I'm used to taking things that I feel very little change, and just understanding I'm taking it because I'm trusting that the research is accurate and that there will be some positive benefits in the long run. And so I'm just going to tell you, when it comes to taking NMN, I did feel, after about 3 or 4 days of taking 500 milligrams, so I take about 500 milligrams in the morning. I take exactly 500 milligrams in the morning, or at least I did for the first 2 weeks, with fish oil, with my resveratrol, with olive oil, and with my other supplement stack. So I just take it all at once in the morning. And after about 3 days, I noticed a really big boost in energy, which I thought was really cool. And that was awesome. I had kind of a nice boost of energy for about, I would say maybe 2 or 3 days. And then it kind of leveled off. And ever since then, I haven't really noticed any change in the way I feel. Now I take 1,000 milligrams. So I started, after 2 weeks, I started taking 1,000 milligrams of NMN. And I take it with the same stack. Everything's the same. Always take it in the morning before, if I'm having breakfast that day, I take it before I eat. Or I can take it just on an empty stomach and, wait as long as I want. When I'm doing intermittent fasting, I take NMN in the morning with a half of a teaspoon of olive oil, because I know that I need to make sure I keep my calories under 50 calories in order to stay in the fasting state. And that's some mad science, my friends, especially when you're dealing with an oil or a fat. But I want to give it just enough of a fat so that it activates the NMN. Now, the there's science out there that has shown that basically olive oil and resveratrol, they do the same thing. But I still take resveratrol with NMN. So I take resveratrol, NMN, and olive oil in the mornings. And basically, I haven't felt any change after the initial first wave. Now, from what I've heard, I should be expecting a second wave, maybe a third and a fourth wave of energy in the months to come. But I don't really care. To be honest, I didn't decide to take NMN because I need more energy. I already hop in ice baths. I do breath work. I'm doing 2-hour workouts. I have plenty of energy. I do plenty of things to give me energy. I'm taking it because I want a longer health span. And if it gives me a longer lifespan along with that, hey, I'm fine with that too. I don't mind having a few extra years to see my grandkids, to help the world any way that I possibly can. There's a saying that when an old person dies, a library burns to the ground. And every time I've seen a loved one die, that's how I felt. It's just like, not only do I miss that person and I feel a great personal loss, but there's so much that we learn. And isn't it a shame that eventually we become frail? The last few years of our life are generally very painful. I watched my grandfather just for the last decade of his life, and he was a super energetic, enthusiastic guy. I mean, he was my grandpa, right? I mean, so he was an energetic guy, very wise, lots of energy, hardworking man. And the last 10 years of his life, it was just awful. And of course, those were the 10 years that I got to know him the most, because I think I was maybe 12 or 13 whenever he eventually passed away. So I didn't get to see him in his prime. I just remember kind of what he was whenever I guess he was starting his decline. And I don't want that for myself. And I would like to be there more presently for my grandkids and for my kids. You know, I want to be able to offer more. And so that's why I'm taking it. And it's not cheap. As far as supplements go, it's not the most expensive thing in the world. There are more expensive supplements out there, but very few. I will say, I chose NMN Bio specifically because Dr. Sarah Nova, it's her company, and she's not just a business owner who wants to make a profit. She's a business owner, right? So that's great, but she's also got a PhD in longevity. So actually she's done research in this field. And because her company shows exactly where they sourced the NMN, which is something that if you just go on Amazon, you're not sure what you're getting. And especially because I had fears about what is it that I'm really putting in my body? What is it that, you know, are there side effects that nobody knows about? I really was happy that I was able to talk to her and just give her all my questions. And so that's why on this channel, you might see a lot of interviews with her, because I just assume that if I have the questions, you guys have the questions too. So anytime I have questions, and I've already seen a lot of questions from the interviews that I've done, and I'm going to add those to the next time we do interviews, because you know, if it turns out that this is a bad thing, that this thing actually has all sorts of side effects, I don't want to take it either, right? So I will definitely tell my audience. Overall, this is what I'm planning on taking NMN forever, assuming that nothing bad comes out of it, and so far I've had 0 side effects. I've had almost 0 effects at all that I've noticed, right? And again, I know supplements well enough to know not every supplement's going to make you feel different. Some will, but ones that are dealing with longevity, I don't really expect there to be some kind of a here and now effect. However, many people talk about how they feel it in the here and now. So who knows? Anyway, that is my experience after 60 days. I will make another, I'll give you more updates. And if you have questions, feel free to put them down below. I'd be happy to take those questions about my own personal experience. Of course, if you have questions about NMN, put them down below, and I'll be happy to add that to the list of questions that I'll be asking Dr. Sarah Nova next time we talk. So Guys, also, if you're wanting to try NMN Bio, I do have a discount code for this audience. If you take a look down below, you'll get 10% off your order, and that's on the entire order. It's not just on your first order. So anytime you ever use it, you can always come back, get 15% off every single time you make an order. One last note, I do have my parents on this now. So I went ahead and I bought my parents NMN from NMN Bio, and I've got them both on it. I want them in my kids' life as long as possible. I got great parents, and I don't want to lose my parents. I've got them on it, and hey, if it gives them a few more years of healthy living, I want to help them to avoid those last awful years, as little pain and suffering as possible in those last few years as possible. And if I get a few more years of my parents, all the better, all the better. So guys, that's my experience so far. Thanks so much for walking around with me here in the forest. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to go out there and be kind to one another.